Hey everyone, thanks so much for checking out Season 2 of the BATTASS podcast. Just wanted to give you guys all a heads up. July is going to be a very busy month for us here because we've got Curse of the White Knight, which is Volume 2 of Sean's Batman book, is going to be debuting, as well as a Kickstarter for a book I'm going to be doing called Bloody Hell. And as that gets closer to coming out, you'll get more information. So thanks so much and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome again to the BATTASS podcast, the Batman the Animated Series show podcast, where we talk about Batman the Animated Series. My name is Clay McCormick, and with me is
Sean Murphy.
And we're back. We're going to be covering 2 episodes tonight, Night of the Ninja and Cat Scratch Fever. So let's jump right into Night of the Ninja.
Where do you get these summaries from? Wikipedia?
Yes.
Okay. Have you read this before, or
I have not.
So it might be bad.
It might be.
Okay.
If you've listened to the show before, sometimes they're bad. In Night of the Ninja, a mysterious ninja is robbing Wayne Enterprises' subsidiaries, and Batman discovers that the ninja is actually his equal in combat. A grudge against Bruce Wayne and skill... It's not good.
Yeah. You can see your face.
A grudge against Bruce Wayne and skills to match him can only mean one person, Kyodai Ken, an old rival of Wayne's teacher from his days in Japan,
right,
and who was thrown out of the dojo after attempting to rob it, only to be stopped by Wayne.
Holy run-on sentence, Batman. Okay.
Ken, it turns out, wants revenge. This one is directed by Kevin Altieri and written by Steve Perry. Generally, Batman plus ninjas is something that I would enjoy, but I did not really care for this.
I like it, but this is going to go into 2 more episodes, or at least 1 more episode where it's better. So this
guy comes back?
Yeah.
Oh,
this thread is pretty good,
yeah.
But this might not be the best one yet. But tell me why you didn't like it.
It falls into that category of a villain that I don't know, so I don't care about.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
And B, it's really thin.
Yeah.
Especially compared to, I didn't love Cat Scratch Fever either, but that has so much going on, like action-wise and a lot of movement and stuff.
Really?
Whereas the story in this one is just kind of, this guy shows up and he realizes it's his buddy, and then they fight at the end. And that was kind of it.
So when I watch these, I'll go through websites and find different reviews. This is sort of jog my memory because I find that I've seen these so much I can't be critically fair.
Yeah.
And I found one on Tor.com that said that they liked this episode. They thought it was probably a top 10 that no one ever puts in the top 10. And the reason they like it, especially compared to Cat Scratch Fever, is because this one, it moved the Batman and Robin relationship forward in a way that few episodes do. You have Batman afraid of a villain for once. Like, he's never intimidated by an adversary, but this time he is. It's cool you get the interesting flashbacks of him as a younger man, kind of going through his training or whatever. Kyodai Ken is a little bit of archetype type. I mean, just sort of run-of-the-mill. The reviewer suggested that maybe Christopher Nolan got the idea for his version of Ra's al Ghul from this character.
Oh, interesting.
I have a hard time believing Chris Nolan watched this cartoon for preparation for that.
Hey,
movie,
he was a kid too once, just not when this was on.
A very serious child.
A very serious child.
Yes. Who wore the same thing every day.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I liked the Robin stuff. Although It was a little bit more forced to me than it was in Robin's Reckoning, because it was the same kind of thing where this thing pops up and Robin's like, let's go fight.
Right.
And Batman's like, no, this isn't for you.
Right.
But it doesn't, there's not really a good reason to not bring Robin on this one.
Well, so, yeah, if they made the reason that this guy's dangerous, he doesn't want Robin to get hurt. But then he would always be worried about Robin. Robin could always get hurt.
Right.
At this point in the series, he's been teaching Robin how to be Robin, whatever, for 9 years. And Bruce is facing this ninja who he couldn't beat before. And he actually didn't beat him the first fight either.
Right.
And he was able to beat him the second fight. They said that it's interesting to see Bruce try to protect Robin, but I didn't get that they were going for that. You know, like
Yeah.
I never felt a good reason for why he was not including Robin.
Yeah, and also the only reason that he succeeds in beating this guy is because Robin shows up.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
at every turn.
Yeah.
You know, on the roof, the only reason he beats him is because Robin hits him with the star or whatever, or I forget what he does. So yeah, it's kind of a fairly unmotivated pushing away.
Yeah. What was the guy's reason for even doing this?
The ninja guy?
Yeah. What was his motivation?
Because he was driven to crime because he was kicked out of the dojo.
Right.
And then Batman was like, well, you were kicked out of the dojo because you were a criminal.
Right. But why is he resurfaced? Why is he affecting Wayne Enterprises?
I don't remember.
Yeah. It was that compelling.
Yeah, good question. What I did like, actually, I didn't hate it. I thought there was cool stuff. I liked the Robin stuff, even though it wasn't super motivated. I also liked
Robin's impression of Batman.
Yeah, that was good. I also really liked that Batman inherently sees ninja as criminal, like he doesn't respect them.
No.
Which is a nice touch.
Which is unlike samurai.
Yes.
Ninjas have no honor.
Yes.
Very Worf line there.
Yes, it is.
From Star Trek. I liked Robin's impersonation of Bruce. Like, thanks for saving my butt, Robin. It was nice to see those little bits. I really loved when Bruce wasn't allowed to fight Kyodai Ken as Bruce Wayne, because there's this reporter in the story. She's sniffing around into Bruce Wayne. She doesn't think he's Batman or anything, but she just is curious. So she's following him around looking for an interview or whatever. She knows that he spent some time in Japan, and she ends up being tied up with Bruce with this ninja, just the three of them. And this ninja wants to fight Bruce, but she's there. She's tied up, but she's looking. So Bruce can't kick this guy's ass because she'll know he's too awesome just to be Bruce Wayne. He's got to be Batman.
Yeah.
So Robin has the idea to like use the Batarang to unravel the carpet, which covers her up, so then Bruce can reposture and then get down to some ass kicking.
Yes.
As a kid, I loved that.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of what they used to do all the time on the 66 Batman show, where Bruce Wayne would always end up in a situation like that, and he would have to A, pretend he wasn't Batman,
right,
and B, figure out a way to fight his way out, but make it look like he's not Batman. So it was always
you like that stuff, though,
I do.
I
do. Yeah. So he'd always end up having to like bumble his way through a fight and just accidentally duck at the right point to have the other guy get hit in the face. That stuff is fun. You know, I really like it when they have a hard split between Bruce and Batman, and they actually do it in this. They have a little bit that I really liked where after they meet the ninja for the first time, they're driving back in the car. Batman doesn't thank Robin for helping him, but he's telling him what's going on, and then he says he studied with Bruce Wayne when Bruce Wayne was in Japan.
Right.
So he refers to when he's Batman, he refers to Bruce Wayne in the third person.
Right.
Which I thought was a nice touch.
So the episode that follows this, not the one sequence, but the next ninja episode, can I spoil it a little bit for you? Because I think you'll like this.
Okay.
Batman realizes that the ninja knows who he is, because when you're good at fighting, you can recognize somebody by their fighting style. And if Bruce beat him fighting, then if he fought Batman as well, the ninja's going to know they're the same person.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a blackmail twist to it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
I felt I dig that. I figured you would too.
Yeah.
Well, now, where are you on ninjas?
It's funny. I was going to ask you the same question.
Why don't you go first?
I think that they're a lot of fun until they become. I think there's a sweet spot where you either have a couple ninja and it's cool, or you have more ninja than anybody could possibly handle and it's cool.
Right.
But if there's just enough to be annoying, then it just kind of runs its course. Like, for instance, I didn't love. Did you watch Daredevil, the Netflix show?
Yeah.
The second season, there's a shitload of ninja.
Right.
And I thought I was gonna love it.
Yeah.
That was my least favorite part of the show because they just kept showing up, and it's like, more ninja.
Yeah.
It's when they used in the right sort of surgically isn't the word, but a good ninja placement is very, very well received. For instance, Last Samurai. I had no idea there were going to be ninjas in that movie.
Yeah.
And when the ninjas showed up, I actually turned to the person next to me and went, "There's ninjas in this movie."
Yeah.
Great ninja placement.
Yeah.
But no, I've always liked ninjas. I mean, I think it's probably. I would be interested to meet someone around our age who doesn't have a soft spot for ninjas.
Right.
Probably you could track it back to Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
For
sure. Well, ninjas weren't really a thing until the mid 80s. If you watch that Canon Films documentary, what's it called? Electric Boogaloo or something?
Yes, yeah.
All right, so it's a documentary about these brothers who were directors in the 80s who would sell a movie based on the movie poster. And they are responsible for such gems as Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
A lot of crappy movies that are gloriously bad is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, they made Chuck Norris a star, basically.
And
Thanks, guys.
think in that documentary they said no one really knew what the ninja was until their movie.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Where around that time, it went from nobody knew what it was.
Ninja?
Probably.
So
that was definitely one of their movies. Yeah.
So when I was watching Stranger Things, and there's a line in there like, smooth like a ninja, and that was 1984. Ninja hadn't permeated in 1984. You would have to wait till 1986 or 7 before ninja became a thing.
There's actually a lot of that stuff in that show. I saw when it first came on, I saw someone complaining that they had a Thing poster in their room, and it just didn't track for when the Thing came out or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But.
Yeah, the song "The Clash" they play had not come out in this country yet.
Ah, interesting.
It's a different version.
Hey man, maybe he's a big Clash fan and he got a tape. Yeah, from overseas.
There's also a grill on the Volkswagen that someone drives. It's the wrong color grill for that. That's what I noticed.
I noticed that too.
I know. Finally, I said it, everybody. I know we were all thinking that.
Taking down Stranger Things is going to be the name of this episode.
It is pretty thankless because, when you're drawing comics, you're trying to be the historical research guy. You're trying to get the cars right. You're trying to get the steering wheel. You're trying to get all the stuff right. And you've got experts from all fields who are happy to tell you, hey, you used the wrong rifle.
Yeah.
Hey, you did the wrong grill. Hey, this, hey, that. It's like, hey, I'm one dude.
Yeah.
I'm not like a production company. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. Well, it's funny on the flip side. I've noticed that we tend to take in more information about stuff that we don't even realize we have.
Right.
Like the last time we were hanging out, we had like a long discussion about guns. And like different types of guns and different shapes of guns. And I don't own a gun.
Right.
I'm not like a gun nut.
I forgot about that.
But I've drawn enough guns and had to find different styles of guns to draw. That like I can go, oh, that's a Mac 10. Oh, that's an M4. It's different from the M16 because of that kind of thing. Because the barrel slopes in a different way.
Yeah. Or the what was the Russian gun?
The AK-47.
Yeah, the AK. Yeah. That's famously one of the top 10 things ever designed that the person who designed it didn't get any credit at all.
Yeah.
Also, the guy who invented the mouse never got credit.
Really?
I think is also on that list.
Oh.
Yeah. The AK-47, one of the most successful, reliable, simplest guns ever. Keeping terrorism alive one way or another everywhere. The guy who created it.
I'm sure he was put to death very shortly afterwards.
I'm sure he was.
But, like, even I'm not a huge car guy compared to you.
Right.
But I can identify a lot of cars just based on the shape of the car or even the headlights or the taillights,
Yeah.
Not to the extent that I'm pointing out grill colors and what decade they're from. But
right, yeah.
It's just weird how much stuff that we take in because we have to draw it.
I'm living in Maine now, so I have gun friends who like guns and all that. And I haven't gone shooting
Those
yet.
are people who like guns and not guns that you've made your friend, right?
Yeah.
Because one of those is going to cause us to have a conversation.
This is my friend Hollow Point.
Jesus.
Shit, that would be a good one-liner for a Chuck Norris movie. But yeah, they talk about guns and they know they know what they're talking about because these are real men who hunt and love that stuff. And I can talk about it from like visual perspective, like I like this gun, and they'll like, why do you like it? Because it's easy to reload. Like, no, because it's easy to draw.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
it's because it's got a square shape.
Yeah. Oh, Glock, like the most boring gun to draw, I think, but it's a very inexpensive gun. You get a lot of rounds. The fact that I even know that is amazing. Because
Yeah.
when I try to talk guns with my gun friends, they're all interested at first. Like, oh, Mr. Fancy Artist, liberal guy wants to talk about guns. And they're like enchanted by my interest. And then when I go, well, I like to draw them, they're like, ugh, wah, wah.
Yeah, no, that's like, it's like, oh, yeah, well, the RoboCop gun is actually a Beretta machine pistol
Yeah.
with an extended barrel on the front that's specifically designed to look like a coffin. It's like, oh, cool.
Oh, man, is that true?
It is true, yeah. The front of it is sort of an oblong
Yeah.
shape. It's supposed
It
to look
has
like a
the
coffin.
cooling vents on
Yeah.
it, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it's stupid, crazy shit that you take in.
Yeah.
I don't know furniture very well, but I know guns and cars.
See, I've learned a lot about furniture by owning an antique house, so I know more than I would care to admit. I know the difference between walnut furniture and oak and French polish. Don't even get me started.
Okay.
You want to sip your beer? Oh,
Yeah,
you're out.
damn it.
I don't want to waste it on a punchline.
Speaking of bad punchlines, did you catch Robin's sweet line where he says, "Let's just see who's going sleepy by"?
I don't know. Yeah, but what?
I forget where it came in, but it was like he just leaned into it. He's like, "Let's just see who's going sleepy by." And
Yeah,
like,
not great dialogue.
not your best work, Robin.
I like.
Sorry, I was gonna say, did you notice Robin seems like, I don't know why I haven't noticed this in the other ones, but he seemed younger. Like he seemed a lot sillier, kind of. And I know that Dick Grayson is generally a lighter character.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he seemed a little bit on the sillier side here.
No, I thought he was just as silly as he usually is.
Maybe I just haven't seen a Robin one in a while.
I watched Robin's Reckoning again today. Well, I just had it on.
Yeah.
Just to keep it going while I was working. And he was quite silly in that, too.
Oh, he is?
Until he got all pissed off and realized
Yeah.
what was at stake.
Yeah, I get maybe it's been a while since we've recorded one of these in real time. So
He's just a goofy character, which kind of, as a kid, he kind of took me out of the story a little bit.
Yeah.
There was one point where he swoops in to save Batman in this, and he's like, he gives Batman a critique while he's beating the bad guy. Like, yeah, sure, he's kind of a pain in the ass, and he's kind of this, he's kind of an asshole.
Gotta love him.
But you gotta love him.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I get so much enjoyment out of that, because it's not funny.
Another line, not from him, that I did notice. Did you notice when the ninja uses the line from Die Hard that Hans Gruber uses about being when Summer Gleason says, "You're just a thief," and he goes, "No, I'm not just a thief. I'm an exceptional thief." I can't imagine that wasn't on purpose because it's very specific.
Right, yeah. So my thing on ninjas is I liked Ninja Turtles okay, but I was really into Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
And Storm
Shadow.
Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
And
Me
Shadow
too.
Dancer, Shinobi.
Yep.
Like I had a big ninja phase.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden. And when G.I. Joe comics and the action figures obviously started releasing Ninja Force, I was all over that.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They had like 6 characters who were all different ninjas, and Snake Eyes was the leader, which doesn't make sense because he can't communicate.
Because he can't talk.
Storm Shadow was good or bad depending on the issue, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then the bad guys were Slice and Dice.
Oh, I remember those guys.
One guy was red, one guy was purple, and they were
Uh-huh.
fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I never thought about the too many ninjas problem.
Yeah.
Until you put it, and I think I agree, because when there's so many and it just becomes a wave of karate, it's
Yeah.
hard to appreciate how cool each one is.
Yeah.
But if you have a select group of ninjas doing cool things, then we're actually due for like a good ninja movie. Like Eisner. Like Oscar nominated, like something really.
You mean to follow in the footsteps of all those other Oscar-nominated ninja movies?
Yeah, we haven't had a good Oscar ninja movie
not
for a long
since
time.
not since American Ninja 4.
I mean, it's the problem is no one takes it seriously, and I think anything can work.
Well, it's I think Frank Miller obviously is the one who popularized ninja in the comics, right? Because he really brought them into Daredevil and into Batman and stuff.
Right, and indirectly created Ninja Turtles, if you think about it.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And he was great with using too many ninja to the best ability, where he was on the far end, where it was like, now Daredevil or Batman is going to fight 100,000 ninjas.
Yeah.
And it's just, that is cool because it just creates this wave of, and it's fun to draw because, there's actually a great cover. I don't think it's him. I think it might be like John Romita Jr. or something, where it's like Daredevil fighting this literal wave of ninja that are sort of coming up over him.
I can see the cover. Yeah.
And that stuff's cool because, and you can tell on how fast someone's working by whether or not they give the ninja the rectangle sword hilt or the circular sword hilt, because the circular one is harder to draw.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It also might be more accurate. I'm not sure. I don't know if ninja swords only have the rectangular shield hilt.
Most of them are rounded off in some way. It's an oval. Because I've drawn a lot for Tokyo Ghost.
Yeah.
And I had to learn about this shit. And yeah, I don't know why. But
Yeah, I think it's just easier.
squared out. So I think Leonardo from Ninja Turtles made the boxy ones, brought that into the zeitgeist. Because it's even like squared off at the end at an angle. It's not quite accurate. But
yeah. But yeah, I would agree. I think there's a... Well, it's tough because so many things are basically ninja movies now. Like I just saw John Wick 3, which
basically a ninja movie.
Which is basically a ninja movie. And it's more so than the previous ones because there's actually more hand-to-hand stuff in it.
Yeah.
And the first like 20 minutes of that movie is
the best knife fight I've ever seen.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That opening.
The amount of knives
Oh, my God.
in a knife museum or wherever they were. Fine,
just
sure,
a weapon
whatever.
museum.
Yeah.
And he spends all that time building that gun just to shoot one guy.
Yep.
I thought that was going to be his gun for like the whole movie, but he just had that one shot.
A revolver? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. That's all he had. Spoilers.
Yeah. No, it's one of those, not to go too off topic, but we're already there. Halfway through the big, I won't spoil it, but the big Middle Eastern fight scene.
Yeah.
I turned to my friend and I went, it's a good thing all these bad guys carry the same gun that John Wick does because he's just constantly grabbing like ammo from them like it's a video game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a little comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think Last Samurai might be the most critically acclaimed ninja movie I can think of.
Yeah, and I think so. Rick Remender, my writer on Tokyo Ghost, when we were conceiving Tokyo Ghost, he was talking to a bunch of other writers of comics, and they were all laughing at the, Western white guy joins Eastern clan. Mm-hmm. And it's like Dances with Wolves is basically the same story. Yeah. It's like that kind of script. You have Dances with Wolves, you have Last Ninja, you have like white savior type stuff or whatever. And everyone was sort of making fun of it. Mm-hmm. I really liked, and that's not untrue, but I really liked Last Samurai.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Visually, the production looked good.
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise is usually pretty awesome. I didn't like the ending. I definitely was another Dances with Wolves or whatever. But yeah, that ninja scene was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I could talk about that movie for a while. But
that's how amazing this episode is.
I guess we'll swing back to Batman. The flashbacks.
Yeah.
I liked the very subtle sepia tone.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like the mob boss one where it was like it turned into an old timey photo.
Yeah, like Once Upon a Time in New York.
Yeah, it was just enough where you could tell it was a little bit different. Yeah. Also, Bruce Wayne's voice is higher.
I was gonna make that.
Do you know? I haven't looked it up.
Did they do that digitally, or
I don't
did
know.
he like pinch a nut while he?
I don't know if he did that himself, he's a lot better voice artist than I thought he was.
Maybe I could do the rest of the podcast in my younger Sean voice. I'm just as good as Kevin Conroy.
You have to put a little bit of a weird thing to compensate for the lip ring that you don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a lip ring?
No.
No? Okay.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. You were a big fan of The Crow. I thought maybe you had a lip ring for a while.
Yeah. I wore black nail polish for literally one day. And that was the day.
But apparently that day,
Chris Tabari,
1,400 photos were taken of you.
And he's like, do whatever. No one just wears it for one day. I'm like, I know. I wouldn't believe me either. This is a debate we still have. And if I was him, I wouldn't believe me either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what scene would you want to draw from this?
I would draw a ninja fight. I would draw one of those fights because I didn't love the animation on the fights.
Yeah.
I thought it was, the Netflix Iron Fist show had a problem for me where you have your show that's based entirely around fighting and that your main character is supposed to be the greatest fighter in the world, but your fights aren't that good.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you have a core problem there. It's similar here where it's like if your episode is built around these two guys fighting and how good they are as fighters, I would hope the animation of the fighting would be a little better.
Yeah, you want to shell out some of that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like drawing ninja stuff too. I did do a book about the hand that was a writer, some independently wealthy writer back in 2002, paid me to do 22 pages of the hand.
Oh, cool.
And because he wanted to submit it to Marvel to be a writer. So if you go online and search my name, and you might find these pages online. And I had to draw waves of ninjas, nice. And I did not really enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you need crowds We have to plan tiny people in the background. Like I hate that stuff.
Yeah. I can see the waves of ninjas being annoying to draw, especially if they're being if they let you. Would you prefer in that situation? It sounds like the writer was kind of specific about what he wanted.
Yeah.
Would you have enjoyed it more? Do you think if they just said page 3, Daredevil fights 8 panels worth of ninja?
Yeah. No, I was making it hard on myself.
Yeah.
That's just my thing I do. So I really wanted to make these like a human wave of ninjas coming over the tops of buildings. And, it was about one member of the hand that became aware and he snapped out of it, and all the other ones just sensed that something was wrong, so they just started attacking him. And it was basically an escape story. And it was fun, but I got sick of it really fast.
Yeah.
They become disposable when you have too many of them. That's my problem. And I like ninjas.
That's sort of how they are in most media anyway. That's why they're disposable.
Yep.
You have a bunch of them because you can beat up a bunch of them and you not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because they're dirty, honorless criminals.
I guess so.
But yeah, I think that would be kind of fun. Especially, I don't know if I would set it inside a carpet factory.
Yeah.
That also has like one Greek statue in it for some reason.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you draw?
Yeah, I would draw some ninja stuff, but I don't want to draw waves. Just one of him on the rooftop fighting a ninja. I would probably complicate the costume a bit. It was just black with a red sash. Or maybe a flashback scene where he's fighting. I love telling my colorists, like, do sepia tone, do just browns or black and white, whatever. Like, I really love the less is more, less color,
Yeah. It'd be cool to do a scene inside that dojo too.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of those paper walls.
Yeah.
And like throwing guys through paper.
Yeah. It's basically a perspective grid. Literally, they have the wood, bamboo. I mean, it's all straight lines. Like, Japanese design is designed to be easy to draw. I love it. When I did a little bit of it in Tokyo, I'm like, oh man, this is so easy. I could do Japanese things all day long.
Yeah, it's great to throw people through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know you didn't like it, but one of my favorite parts of the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie is at the end. That's a great use of ninja in that movie.
Oh, that's right.
When he comes up on the elevator and they all go for the swords and he just shoots them all.
Yeah.
And then the lights go out and he's like fighting in the hallways and throwing guys through the paper and stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is great.
Yeah. Nice. So what would your rating be on this one?
I was going to give it a 2.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I think there's enough good stuff in it as far as like, I think the character work is good. The stuff with Robin is good, even though, like I said, it feels kind of unmotivated. I give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3 as well.
Yeah.
Strong 3, but I'm saying that because I know the follow-up episode to this is probably a 4.
Yeah.
But none of them is hard advice.
Interesting conversation, I think, then.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with Cat Scratch Fever.
Cat Scratch Fever.
All right. Welcome back. Next episode we're going to cover is Cat Scratch Fever. And in it, Batman must stop Roland Daggett's plan to release a viral plague designed by Professor Milo into Gotham City by way of its stray cat population. The case gains new urgency when Catwoman becomes infected with the virus during her search for her missing cat Isis. Now Batman must find an antidote to save the woman who loves him most. And the story by Sean Catherine Derrick, teleplay by Buzz Dixon, director Boyd Kirkland. Do you want to go first? Because I think we're going to have sounds like we have differing opinions of this episode.
Yeah, I don't love this one.
Oh, okay. Because based on what you said a minute ago, I thought you really liked this one.
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
I didn't like it.
Then we're going to have very similar
Okay,
opinions.
good, yeah. I felt that I like Catwoman as a character, but I feel like she's just reduced to a damsel in distress in this one.
Yeah.
I think the bad guys are goofy. I think the animation's not great. Just, the Ted Nugent title doesn't help at all. Yeah, I just don't like this episode. I do like the very end when he delivers Isis back to her in a basket. I think that's a really heartwarming scene. But otherwise, I don't think there's a lot here.
Well, that about does it. Yeah, no, I feel more or less the same way. The first 10 minutes is Selena Kyle looking for a cat.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same plot as the missing homeless people one, except it's with animals.
Yeah. Hey, homeless people are animals. I was going to say humans, but I decided I could make it more offensive.
Yeah, hot take. And the plot is pretty lame. Like the bad guy's plan is pretty lame and cliche. I'm not even sure exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to infect the population of Gotham.
Yep.
Daggett through stray dogs.
Stray animals, and then
that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing where when your boss says that, you go, "This guy is crazier than even most insane people are."
And then he has the cure, and he'll sell the cure and make a lot of money. It's a popular plot for a lot of.
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard this plot a few different ways.
I feel like they must have done that with Poison Ivy at some point.
Yeah,
it feels very Poison Ivy.
No, as a kid, I thought that was brilliant. Like I've never heard.
Well, I mean, if it works, I mean, it is. Yeah.
12-year-old, like that is a perfect 2-part plan. I don't see how that could possibly go wrong. Brilliant. Yeah. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, no. And I like Daggett. I always have that weird question, like, am I watching Daggett or am I watching the guy that reminds me of Daggett?
The other Batman villain?
The mobster guy.
Rupert Thorne?
Thorne, yeah. I know they're different, but I always get them mixed up.
Daggett feels like he's I think we've only seen him a couple times so far, but he seems like a catch-all for when they need someone who's not a gangster, but he's not a supervillain.
Yeah.
So if there's some sort of like production, if there's production involved with whatever the plot is,
and some kind of you have to sort of be an up-and-up citizen, then they use Daggett.
Yeah, because he was the one behind Clayface, right?
Yeah, he's a white-collar criminal, basically.
Yeah. If there's an overhead involved, you want Roland Daggett as your bad guy.
Yeah, he wasn't used that much. I love the voice actor. I'm spacing on his name right now. But yeah, I think that I just wish that they had used him for Rupert Thorne instead, because I don't like the voice actor for Rupert Thorne.
One of them is Ed Asner. I think
so. Ed Asner is
Daggett.
Is Daggett?
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
Yeah.
I like some of the relationship stuff, I guess. I like the idea that Selena Kyle who is Catwoman, is in love with Batman but doesn't care about Bruce Wayne. I mean, that's pretty standard. That it's the Lois Lane Superman thing, except in this case, Lois Lane is also a villain.
She also, there's a weird line where she's like, "Oh, don't worry, Selena Kyle won't be going, ... And Batman should be like, "Oh, so you're going to dress up as Catwoman." Yeah. Obviously, that's what that means. I'm a detective, and I need to arrest you.
Also, everyone knows you're Catwoman because you just got out of jail for being Catwoman.
If you dress up as Catwoman, I mean, they're going to just like, "Oh, I see Selena. She's dressed as Catwoman. There she is. Hi."
At the beginning of the episode, there's literally a Selena Kyle fan club.
Oh, yeah.
About trying to get her out of jail.
Yeah.
It's... It reminds me of The Simpsons. When Marge is like, "Homer, you're not going out to stalk Lenny and Carl again." He's like, No, I'm going out to stalk Lenny and Carl. Their relationship is interesting. I probably shouldn't even mention this because I don't know it well enough to portray it well. But with that in mind, here we go. My friend was telling me his kids love this cartoon on Netflix, which I can't remember the name of. But he said what's interesting is that it's a superhero cartoon, and the two characters are both superheroes. And when they are just in their secret identities, character one has a crush on character B, but character B doesn't have a crush on character A. Did I say one and A?
Yeah, I don't know why you switched. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Character A has a crush on character B, but character B doesn't have a crush on character A.
And when they switch.
But when they're superheroes, character B has a crush on character A.
Okay.
Character A doesn't have a crush on character B, and they don't know that they are superheroes.
I was going to say, so that's got to be the thing.
Which is a really interesting way to play that. Because it's like, it's the Superman Lois Lane thing, but like doubled up.
It's like a love square.
Yeah.
The two people.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? I don't know if we've really talked about this, and if we had, I apologize. How do you feel about the Catwoman Batman relationship thing in general?
Do you have an answer prepared?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But I've also kind of felt it feels kind of forced.
Yeah.
Just because they are the two, because Batman doesn't have a love interest generally,
Yeah.
and Catwoman walks the line enough where it's not that weird if he falls in love with her.
Yeah.
It's not like Talia al Ghul. I'm more interested in the Talia al Ghul Batman relationship, where Batman's like, "Listen, lady, I don't want any part of this," and she's like, "No, you and I are going to have a kid."
Yeah.
Because you trained with my dad. That means that we have to get married and have a kid.
Not weird at all.
Yeah.
You smell just like my dad.
Ugh.
I
Have you ever seen that old the Neil Adams Batman in the desert sequence where Batman has his shirt off, but he's still got his cowl on?
Yeah,
and he's got the
and they're kissing, and they have the
glorious hair on his chest.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, there's a scene in the episode where they do that too, and they have a kiss, and it's like the setting sun over the desert. They're playing Lawrence of Arabia or something. No, I didn't know that was based off of Neil Adams. No, I'm not a big fan of Bruce falling in love, period.
Yeah.
I feel like my version of him is so single-minded on what he's doing. He doesn't have time for that.
Yeah.
I could see him having fleeing crushes on somebody like Talia or someone that, if he's out patrolling and there's a hot villain there and there's some chemistry and he's like, he'll entertain the thought for a minute, but I don't see him really following through. And I just think he's too smart, and he sees how complicated it would be to ever get involved with Catwoman.
Yeah.
Unless she went straight, of course, which is where a lot of the stories come in, because she can kind of go both ways sometimes.
Yeah. And even there, though, I don't even think that necessarily makes it less complicated.
Yeah.
Because you're still eventually trusting Catwoman, whether or not she's gone straight with your whole thing. And I kind of agree where... Yeah, I don't know. He's always seemed very asexual almost.
Yeah.
And which some people like, some people don't.
Yeah. Well, I can see him falling in love with someone as Bruce.
Yeah.
Like with Andrea Beaumont.
Yes.
If he's falling in love with a version of his life that doesn't involve Batman, it's just a different personality of his. So or even in Batman Returns, where he sort of falls in love with what's her face?
Catwoman.
Selena Kyle, played by
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Thank you. So he sort of liked her when she was a secretary and took her out, and I don't ever think he was thinking about giving up Batman, but he was wondering, how am I going to tell her this stuff?
He was really into the woman with the massive head wound.
Yeah, but she was sort of a girl you date, not a girl you marry, to put it in a mild way. Or Vicky Vale too. I think he's like attracted to normal people. I see him more with a normal person, not with a criminal.
Yeah. It's like actors who don't want to date other actors. They always like to date people who are outside the industry.
Like, how do you feel about Daredevil and Elektra?
That one I've never had a problem with.
Same.
I think because they are generally presented as equals.
Yeah.
And they have a much richer history. Than Batman and Catwoman do, and I don't mean that like they've been around longer. It's just like I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I don't feel like Catwoman and Batman being a romantic thing is something that goes back to the 40s. I think that it was a more modern construct.
Right.
Again, not 100% sure, but that's always how it felt to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. If we cared about what we were doing, we would have researched it.
Yeah, but here we are.
Yeah.
Just be glad we watched the show, I guess.
I like Daredevil Elektra because of the whole, he's a Catholic, and he's trying to be good, and he's kind of a good boy, but he has a bad boy vibe, and she's the forbidden fruit. And she even looks like forbidden fruit. She's exotic with like wild dark hair and just very,
She might be the most specifically, this might sound weird to say, but she might be the most specifically ethnic character that I've seen in a comic book that from before 1995, basically, because she's very Greek.
Oh yeah,
her whole thing, like a big part of her thing is that she's Greek,
right?
And it adds to that exoticism, for lack of a better term, which is probably not the right way to say it. But.
No, I meant it as a compliment. Like forbidden fruit,
yeah.
Being on vacation in the Mediterranean, you meet the girl in a white skirt on the beach. Like, I meant it in a good way. But yeah, I can see it with Daredevil because it plays into it's tempting him, basically. But I don't feel that Catwoman is tempting Bruce the same way. I feel like he's more prepared and more capable and more everything than she is, and I don't see why the whole idea of she could fool him once and then he's going to be on to her, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas Daredevil isn't that type of character. Like, he's probably going to let his heart be broken over and over and over again because that's just, makes more sense for him.
Yeah.
But I don't see Bruce being that dumb,
Yeah, I think I've heard people say, like, oh, well, Selene is like a blind spot for Bruce. And it's like, no, she's not. I don't buy that. I understand that, Batman doesn't need to be infallible.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like he would have more guard than generally they give him.
I buy more Talia for him, honestly. She's sort of more like Elektra-ish in a way. And because her dad barges his way into Bruce's life in this show by finding out who he is and needing him for a mission and all this stuff. Like, Bruce doesn't have any secrets from Ra's, it seems.
Yeah.
And then you have this daughter character, and there's it's just like, I don't know, like, for some reason that mix of events just lends itself more to me believing that he would at least have a fling with Talia, and there would always be chemistry there. But he knows who she is. He knows she won't change. She knows he won't change. Like,
the thing with Talia has always felt kind of like when one half of an arranged marriage doesn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like she and Ra's al Ghul are kind of forcing themselves onto Batman.
Right.
And he very much doesn't want a part of it, but at the same time, he's kind of like, she's kind of cute.
I'm gonna follow this through and see where it goes.
Yeah, but like it's. I find it more interesting than the Catwoman thing because it has even more of a we really shouldn't do this vibe than the Catwoman thing does.
Yeah,
because the outcome of him getting with Talia is like breeding a race of supervillains, essentially.
Right.
But.
Yeah. So I had a lot of readers from White Knight really want Bruce and Harley Quinn.
That's I'm gonna say this. That's fucked up. I'm not a fan of that. But continue.
Why is that fucked up?
I don't know. I feel like that's a different level of weird than Batman and Catwoman.
Because he's got sloppy seconds from the Joker?
No, because Catwoman kind of walks, she walks the line. Harley Quinn has a lot of emotional issues that Batman probably doesn't want any part of.
But not my Harley, though. That's the thing. I toned it down a lot.
All right.
Well, so one of the...
Yeah, just wait till the next edit you get.
Great. One of the scenes in my book is Harley... Spoilers, she's basically the White Knight, and she's sort of pulling the strings on everybody, basically. She and Batman have a few heart-to-hearts in the book, usually on her rooftop. And I had a lot of positive reaction from readers who were like, we really love this relationship. It's not romantic. It's more like a brother-ship, French sister.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Or like just two people that are both kind of messed up in their own ways, and they just have this bizarre understanding and respect for each other. But some people went a step further, and they said, I never thought about this before, but what about Batman and Harley? And if you just drop that on someone on the street you don't know, they're going to say, no way.
Yeah.
But the way that I'm teeing it up in White Knight more and more, especially with Volume 2, is...
For now.
It makes slightly more... until I get your fucking notes. Yeah, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, my pushback would be, I feel like Batman and Harley getting together in White Knight undercuts everything you're doing with Harley and Jack. Because her whole thing is that she's in love with Jack.
Right.
And that's her whole world. So I feel like having, God forbid, one of the Joker or Jack is no longer in the equation.
Right.
I feel like putting Harley with Batman is kind of weird.
So, if Joker is in love with Batman in a way, Jack Napier might be in love with Batman. Some readers suggested that he's bi. I'm not opposed to that, obviously. It's just that you seen House of Cards?
Yes.
Where they both make love to the Secret Service guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine Batman. Okay.
It's a great pitch for Curse of the White Knight you got going right here,
I'm
guys.
gonna back off for a second. All I'm saying is
Issue 6, right? That's when this happens.
When I think that Joker and Harley kind of have this. Joker and Harley. What did I write? Harley and Jack Napier they sort of. I think that it makes sense for them both to sort of respect Batman, and if he's in love with Batman, then it's not too crazy for anyone to suggest that she might also part of her in another life. Mm-hmm. Maybe she realizes in another life, you're a good guy, you're honest. Like in the animated series, she kissed him twice, I think. Mm-hmm. He's never shown any affection for her, although he does show her respect. I just thought that out there.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to put this on the record. Okay. I'm going to fight you real hard if you have them make out.
No, you already shut that down.
Okay.
You already gave me that note. You're like, nope, holding hands is pushing it.
Yeah, so you guys can blame me for that.
They hug. I'm going to make them hug because I know I can draw that and I can pull it off.
Is it going to be like a 6th grade hug where there's like room for the Holy Spirit between them? Like a dance?
No, I can show you the panel.
Okay. I'll pull up my red pencil and we'll deal with this later.
Please do. All right.
What did I like in this episode? The dog animation I thought was great. When he's chasing him onto the ice,
right?
And he does that, so he slips on the ice and has that kind of like 360 spin.
Yeah.
Whoever their 360 guy is on the show is really good because every time they have a shot like that, it looks great.
Yeah, the Two-Face episode, they had a 180 shot that's like that.
Every time they have the car, the Batmobile, and that spinny thing.
What do you think of the sound effects on the dogs?
It sounded like they had one that they kept using over and over.
Yeah, it sounded like if you drag an empty can across concrete, like
yeah.
It was like the same. Just imagine a button that makes that noise. It's like, especially when you're listening to it, not watching it, like I was. It's like Jesus Christ, the fucking dogs don't sound like dogs at all, and this sound effect is way overused. It's
funny. I didn't look to see if there was anybody listed as the
dog person,
but generally. There is, and it's the guy, I may have said this before, the guy his name's Frank Welker, and he's done he's like the most famous voice actor still alive.
Oh.
He did Megatron on Transformers, he was Fred on Scooby-Doo,
okay.
Slimer in the Ghostbusters. He shows up in shows all the time as animals, because he does really good animal voices.
Was he in Lady and the Tramp and the Dog in the Pound scene?
I don't know, might have been.
No, he would have been young when that came out.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but he's the guy. On The Simpsons, he's shown up just to do like a dog bark once or twice.
Yeah.
And on the commentaries, they always talk about how expensive he is.
Yeah. I was in Savannah, and I met Robert Paulson, who is the voice actor for Warner Brothers. He did Yakko Warner. Mm-hmm. He did
Meatloaf in Fight Club, right?
Yeah, his name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
That's why I can remember his name.
Yeah.
He did Pinky and the Brain. He was Pinky, all kinds of stuff. I think he does like Raphael or Michelangelo, or whatever. But he and I clicked. He's so great.
I think he does a voice in this episode, actually, because I know his voice, and I think it's in this episode.
I thought I heard it, actually.
Yeah. I think he's the weird scientist guy with the long nose and the bowl haircut.
Oh, right, yeah. That design. Oof. So when I was talking to him, because we're both car guys, and we're chatting about what we drove, whatever. You don't get to meet car people at comic conventions usually. I was telling him about my book, and he was excited to read it, and I said, hey, I don't know what kind of pull I have, but you seem like a good dude. If we ever do an animated whatever for White Knight, like I'll happily put your name in for Jack Napier as opposed to the Joker. Right. And he went off. He took it. And he's like, "That would be great. We could get Mark in. We could get Kevin in." Like, started naming them all by first name, and I'm just like, started.
You know, in his head, he's like, "Motherfucker, I have more pull than you do, Sean."
Probably, yeah, probably. Why would they want me in the room when they're making White Knight animation? You know?
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, he's got a great voice though. He actually, his voice showed up in Harley Quinn and Batman, which unfortunately. So he's definitely worked in that world before.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's really great with his fans, always on his feet, just 110% energy. Yeah. He must just go back to his hotel room and collapse. He was like filming things live and singing to people. Animaniacs is back in fashion now because it's past that 20-year gap where people that loved it now have kids. So he's like,
great show.
He knows like this is a song, like all the states in the country and all the countries in the world. So he did one with me for my sister. My sister geeked out on it. And he actually looks like Yakko.
Does he?
Sorta, yeah.
They might have done that thing where they, you know how like Genie in Aladdin kind of looks like Robin Williams?
Yeah. Anyway, what scene would you draw?
I'm going to go a little bit in the opposite direction from I usually do, where I say I would love to draw Batman lit by fire. I think Batman trapped under the ice would be pretty cool.
That's what I was going to say. Fuck.
You don't want to draw Catwoman's really inconspicuous hideout underneath the giant panther statue. That has to be a joke, right? That has to be like an in-joke where she's like, I have this hideout, and then they hard cut to this giant panther building.
Is it near a cat? Let me guess. Joker's hiding in a joke shop somewhere.
Yeah, if she was smart, she would have been like, I have this hideout. It's in the abandoned joke factory.
Yeah. Batman shows up. Joker, where are you? And she steps out. Or he goes to the puzzle factory, and it's not the Riddler, it's Croc.
Yeah, exactly. Do you how do you feel about drawing dogs?
Good question. I just drew a bunch of horses today.
Jeez.
Yeah. I can do it. I love drawing animals if I have the time. Drawing animals in action. I mean, there are special artists that specialize in this stuff who are much better at it than I am. I had to draw Harley's hyenas again. I didn't want to draw them, but I felt like the scene made sense, so I drew them. And hyenas are so weird looking that even when you draw them right, they still look wrong.
Yeah.
But normally I don't love it, but I'll do it. How about you?
Yeah, it depends on the animal. Horses are always tough. I've probably said this in one of the previous episodes, but the last book that I was doing was already running kind of late for various reasons.
Yeah.
And it was mostly guys in suits and like guns and cars. Yep. And then one of the last pages was like 15 guys all on horses charging next to 15 other guys all charging on motorcycles. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. For me, the trick to horses was getting small horse toys and models and being able to rotate it, because the horse shape changes so much depending on the angle you use. And just having it in your hand for me helped out a lot. Yeah,
I actually have a toy from Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton movie. Yeah. The McFarlane toy of the Headless Horseman on top of this on a horse. Yeah. That thing is great because it's a good horse toy. Yeah. That you can turn and get good lighting on and stuff. Yeah. I was when I was looking for references, I was looking at the shot from Batman Dark Knight Returns where he's galloping on the horse. I was like, yeah, I remember that horse being pretty awesome. Yeah. I flipped to that page and I was like, I think he kind of winged this one because it's like the legs look right and the head is kind of down. It's a really blocky, weird shot for a horse. Yeah. So I feel like he kind of it's
iconic though.
Yeah. He got the face and he got the feet and he was like, just whatever.
And according to Klaus, this is the Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You said you should have seen the pencils before I fixed it.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, horses are really hard. I think a lot of artists would say that's their least favorite, other than cars. That's their least favorite thing to draw.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable drawing horses than cars. I think because I'm more of an organic line person. Yeah, and I still haven't totally figured out how cars work in space. Unfortunately,
I have explained to a friend of ours 6 times how to draw ellipses and tires, and she just does not get it. It's not in her brain. She doesn't care. Even as I start re-explaining it, I see her brain just shut off, and I'm like, why am I even wasting my breath?
The ellipses don't bother me as much. It's just the cars themselves. Yeah, placing a shape that has a lot of rounded contours and stuff inside a 3-dimensional square. Right. I haven't quite figured out how to maneuver the curves of the lights, the headlights and stuff.
So I would suggest for you, draw cars from the 70s. Yeah. It lends itself to your style. Comics are great for throwing in different period stuff, and it doesn't necessarily register as being different. And with your style, especially with your grindhouse type of love, draw just cars from the 70s are boxy and easier to do. Cars and curves are hard. 60s cars are hard.
If I don't have a specific car in the script, I generally try to do that.
Yeah, go to the 70s. Easier. Yeah, I love drawing 70s cars. I could do a whole podcast about that. But I
like a nice Lincoln or Cadillac, no problem with that one.
When you're talking about McFarlane toys, people seem to like our tangents, so here we go. I remember meeting...
Well, we haven't done one yet, so we may as well do one now.
I was in school, and SCAD paid for Mark Schultz to come and teach, who did Cadillacs and Dinosaurs cartoon, also known as Xenonics, whatever Tales. Okay. When they called it Cadillacs and Dinosaur, good move, good branding. Xenomorph, nope, that's not it. So anyway, he was talking about he always goes around with a figure of Jack Tenrek, which is the main character in Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, he has the action figure in his pocket, and it's like a squat-looking pre-Todd McFarlane toys. Like, this is the best you could get. Sorry, kids.
Yeah.
He carried it around. When someone asked him what he did, he'd pull it out and be like, I did this. And then it would be this weird conversation, I guess, about how you didn't actually make this, you did the comic, and he'd have to backpedal a lot. Didn't seem like a good idea, but this is a shtick.
That's so much more elaborate than, like, I have a hard enough time telling people I draw comic books.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I'm an illustrator. Well, what does that mean? Well, I draw comic books. Oh, have you drawn anything I've seen? Probably not.
Like, pulling out the action figure for your thing, it's not like you're pulling out a Batman action figure to register. Yeah. It's like a guy who looks like a mechanic who's disproportionate. Then you have to go backwards and explain everything that led up to this, and that just sounds like more of a pain in the ass.
And the person you're talking to is like nodding as they slowly walk away from you.
So he was saying back before, so Todd McFarlane called him once and said, I'm working with this toy company. They tried to make Spawn toys, and I fucking hate it, and it's crazy, and they won't give me any notes. They won't accept my notes, and blah, 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 blah. And Mark, who's a very even-tempered, just laid-back type of guy, was like, hey, man, you know what? I hear you, but it's just how it is. Like, you think I love my Cadillacs and Dinosaurs figures? No, but this is just the best they have. And Todd goes, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to start my own toy company. And Mark's like, yeah, okay, Todd, and hangs up on him. And we all know who had the last laugh.
Yeah, I feel like does that work with anything? Like, is that the thing that motivates McFarlane more than anything else? So you could be like, man, it's too bad that you hired me to wash your car, but I just can't do it very well. I guess this is the way it is. Yeah. And then he just washes his own car.
Yeah. Well, so when I talked to Todd, I realized I have a lot in common with Todd. Our take on business, our frustrations. We both seem to be anger and spite motivated, which is a dangerous combination if you can go off the rails. But yeah, I thought I was going to not have a lot to talk with him about. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's in my head. Yep. This is crazy. I probably got along with him better than Mark, who I love Mark. He's going to live a lot longer than Todd and I will say that. God, what else? You said something else that made me want to pick a different tangent. Yeah, I'll leave it in a bit.
But yeah, overall, boring episode for me. Yeah. Not a great use of Catwoman. I mean, I feel like they haven't figured her out yet. She's still stuck in that poison ivy thing where it's like, well, everything she does have to involve cats or something.
Right.
I guess it's good if you gotta write one quick. It's easy, but didn't love it. I would probably give this a 2.
I was gonna go 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, sorry, one more question.
Yep.
Do you don't like drawing dogs?
I don't hate it.
Okay.
I don't mind drawing animals is always, it takes some adjustment. Right. Because the human figure is, you draw enough of it that you can kind of rough it in pretty quickly.
Yep.
But when you get to an animal, it's like, oh Jesus, this is a completely different thing. So I have to kind of readjust my brain.
Right.
I actually haven't drawn that many. Anyway, why do you ask?
Well, do you have a no-draw list?
Not yet.
Have we talked about this?
We might have.
Okay. Some artists have a no-draw list. They have a list of things.
I apologize if we're just going through the greatest hits of stuff we've already talked about.
It's going to be funnier this time.
Yeah.
One guy won't draw magic because he's super religious, and magic is something of the devil. Some people just won't draw things out of spite because they hate drawing them. And a lot of artists just won't draw cars. Yeah.
I don't know how you get away with that one.
Yeah. Like, I've always felt like if the story needs it, I will figure out a way to draw it. And I've never just to have a blanket list of like, nope, sorry, not doing it. I don't care what your script says. I'm not drawing that. Yeah. That just seems to me, I don't know.
I can tell you what I do have. And I have a problem not figuring out a way to make it easier for myself. So if the script calls for a shot of something that I know is a pain in the ass to draw, I tend to not instinctively figure out an easier way for me to frame it. I'll just go with what I think it should look like in my head. So basically, if I have to do a shot of a city, right, and someone's busting up through the roof of a building or something,
right,
I will rough in like a 3-point perspective sprawling city shot, knowing I hate to draw that shit, and it will drive me nuts.
Yeah,
but in my head, it's like, well, that's the best shot, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Or the one with the horses. I kind of figured out a little bit of a sidestep to the horses thing, but even there, I ended up doing a bunch of them. What was great though is there was a lot of smoke coming up, so you only had to draw a bunch of heads.
Oh yeah.
But it was like that, whereas like I roughed it in. I'm like, all right, there's like I got to draw like 50 horses here.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing it in my head as though I was shooting it with a camera. And then I kind of run it through the filter of, all right, well, I actually have to draw this. How the hell am I going to do this?
Right.
So yeah, I would say I have a first pass problem where I haven't figured out how to really simplify that stuff, but not lose the dynamics I'm going for, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Do you draw comics because you're basically a director who's too lazy to hire a crew?
I wouldn't say too lazy, but
I'm not. That's not too far off, though, is it?
It's not. Well, it's the easiest way to do it. Let's put it that way. It's not a lazy thing because drawing comics is fucking hard.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to suggest it was.
Yeah, it's a you can do everything you can do in a movie, but you can do it yourself.
Yeah,
and you don't have to really communicate your vision to somebody else. You can just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had the skill, the technical ability, and the backing, I would love to. I think all of us would say yes to that.
But I think there's a lot of maybe just friends of ours who, like Dan Panosian, Dustin Wynn, you, me, Dabari, of course, Joe, Ricardo likes comics. We like comics. We really liked them when we were younger, but as we grew up, we sort of left them behind. But we still draw them, and we enjoy them for the art. But we're more into movies. But we didn't make the leap to movies, so now we sort of just push through this comic career because we think of ourselves as more of like directors doing mini movies rather than comics.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like I'm definitely that person.
Yeah.
What I don't know about comics is staggering, as you know.
I mean, just Batman is staggering. You write the damn book. I mean,
yeah. So my friend Tom King is moving on to some other things from Detective 85 or 86, I forget. And the news came out this week. And
Batman 85.
Batman, thank you. Sorry. And people were saying, "Oh, who's going to replace him?" And people started talking about me because I had a good selling book or whatever, and I'm a name, quote unquote. And I immediately said, "You don't want me writing mainstream Batman. I don't know anything about the characters. Like, I don't have any interest in this. I'm not the guy. Like, trust me. Like, the fact that I can get through White Knight is a feat in itself. Like, I'm not your candidate. Sorry.
Yeah.
And even if DC came to me, I'd say, I'd probably hire you and say, I can do this. I need to do a lot of research and really get my head around it. But it's not like it comes naturally to me to fill in for an ongoing Batman book that involves other superheroes,
Yeah. Well, it's a different beast, I think you and I fall in the same category where I would prefer to do a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not to take away from people who do long-running comics, or to say that long-running comics don't have that.
Right.
But it's just it's a mindset of thinking about long-form storytelling.
Right.
That at this moment doesn't super interest me.
Yeah.
Because I think the movie thing that you're talking about probably comes through the most in that way.
I agree.
Where I would much rather do 5 issues of a comic that read as a single story, much like it would watching the movie of it, than I would to doing like 100 issues that have interlocking plots that go on for 10 years.
Like I don't even. So when I write, beginning, middle, end, and it ends. And there's a few threads that I could use for a sequel. And there's a button at the end which intrigues, like, ooh, where's this going? But I'm not leaving. Like to do an ongoing, you have to have like different subplots that have clearly not been resolved that are going to be picked up. Now that this plot is finished, the next plot will take over, and I suppose I could do that. I just never thought of myself as that kind of writer, and I'd take practice. I'm just not wired that way. And that's how much respect I have. I mean, the main books, the flagship titles that hold together publishers. The amount of that's the amazing thing. It's the writing is impressive, but for me the most impressive thing is just planning.
Yes,
keeping it going and keeping the momentum and making sure it doesn't get stale and coordinating with dozens of people. And I don't want to be on the phone to different writers telling them what I'm going to do, and they're going to be like,
that's crazy when you get into like multi-book stuff like that. And Now, do you know how much generally that stuff is mapped out?
Yeah.
Like, you know how in television shows, it's like, well, we kind of have an idea of the first season.
Right.
Or the first half of the season, and then we're going to kind of mess with it as we go.
Yeah. So they have writer summits at least once a year, and they'll bring in the top writers to LA or whatever and say, okay, we need to plan out 18 months of Batman, Superman. Or how are these characters going to weave? How are these books going to weave into each other? Okay, now that we have the idea, this is our event. Okay, so what spinoffs do we have? Who wants to take these books? And you start kind of handing out assignments to people, planning out your publishing schedule. And it has to be done that way. It's corporate, it's boring, but I mean, I guess it's exciting to some people, but it's how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you can get some, beautiful creativity and some amazing stories out of it, great. We hope the artists and writers can find those moments. But the other thing with that too is a lot of it changes. Like sometimes someone will be pushed off a book sooner than later, or you want to use, Catwoman, and you can't. Catwoman's being used in this book, so you can't have her in two titles at the same time because it won't line up. That kind of thing. Like just the spreadsheet in my brain of how I'm not that guy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Not that you're not that guy. I agree that I'm not that guy either.
Yeah, it's not something that interests me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like planning out a game of Axis and Allies, and I suppose I could, but like
I just don't want to read the rule book. It's going to take me just as long to read the rule book as it is to play the game.
Well, that's the nice thing about writing Batman and having you to help is you know more about it than I do, and I can be like, instead of going and researching, I can just be like, Clay, how about this? You're like, well, that's interesting because this, or that won't work because of that. And I'm like, that saves me a lot of effort from going to the library. And they were like, awesome. So there's a thing where I'm
just seeing you. I'm getting a text from you with this question, and I consult my stacks, and I'm going through all of my books and looking stuff up online and trying to figure. No, but, looking stuff online, trying to figure an answer, and then I finally text it back to you, and you get the message, and you're like sitting on your couch, half awake, be like, "Thanks, man."
Wait, what did I ask you?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that works. Thanks. Yoink.
Good. Now I don't have to put pants on.
No, there was so I have Azrael in the next one, and obviously Azrael's an anti-hero. Obviously he and Batman are going to fight at some point. That's not a spoiler. And you said, well, what's really cool is in Nightfall, Batman forces Azrael to chase him through narrow passageways to force Azrael to take his bulky costume off in order to get Batman. So you said it would be a cool thing if you could sort of repeat that thinking. So Azrael is maybe Asbat or some suit he's wearing, and Batman needs to get him to shed things or whatever reason. And I never would have come to that on my own, but the suggestion that you made is super helpful. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but there's a lot of little tidbits like that where you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good, quick, easy Easter egg. I think readers will really like it. Like, my thinking is, if Clay's happy, then I have 1,000 readers are probably going to agree. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he does that, I'll sign those pages of the book.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't get to take credit for it. You're not Danny O'Neill who wrote it.
No, I don't get to take credit for it. I don't get to be given credit for it either.
Hey, man, don't be my Bill Finger.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back next time with, we got another two-parter coming up, so we're going to jump around a little bit. So we're going to do The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne, and If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? That also reminded me of something I forgot to mention in the Ninja episode.
Yep.
Is the Ninja guy refers to Bruce Wayne as Rich Man's son.
Oh, yeah.
Which has to be like a play on words, right? Where it's Rich Man's son, like the Japanese thing, but also Rich Man's son.
No.
No? Why not?
I don't know.
That's what he is.
Yeah, but I think the point of that character was he was challenging by saying that Bruce was not as qualified as him.
Yeah.
Because he's a spoiled kid, and meanwhile Kyodai Ken has always had a hard life and sort of like throwing everything he can at Bruce. But is it a play on words? I guess you could look at it that way.
I'm thinking from the writer perspective, not necessarily the character saying.
Man's son. Okay.
I don't know. Who knows? Anyway,
I never thought about that.
It's fun. Anyway, so that's going to do it. If you like this, please give us a rating on iTunes or tell your friends about the show.
Yeah, or tweet at us, and Clay might respond.
Yeah.
Because you run our Badass Twitter account.
The Twitter is at BATTASS Podcast. That's BATTASS Podcast. If you have any questions or comments.
Does the Badass Podcast follow anybody? Like Justin Bieber?
Yes, not him specific. I mean, we can do that if you want.
We should just follow animated series people.
I think it follows me.
It just follows Kevin Conroy.
Not you.
What?
No, me, you. I don't know. I haven't looked at the thing. I just did the thing where a bunch of people popped up, and I think. But yeah, it follows Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy and a bunch of those guys. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
So that's on Twitter, and if you have a question, you want to email us at battasspodcast@gmail.com. You can do that. And we will see you next time.
All right,
guys.
Thanks, gang.
Let the good times roll.